My name is Ellie, and I'm going to talk about two podcasts that we watched this week. And the first one is about how segregation still exists in the United States, and they talk about a school district called the Normandy School District in Missouri, talked by Hannah Jones. This one is perspective from students and parents of color, and the second one is about how it can be hard for white people to step up and integrate. And it was talked by Jaffe Walt, and as I mentioned, this is perspective from white people uh, integrate integrate integrating with people of color. Um, as I was listening to the first podcast, I was very shocked and disappointed about how there's segregation still in the United States because I was born and raised in Japan for 15 years and I lived there, had education for about 10 years. And then I came to Arizona to a charter school in Phoenix, which was the vast majority of students were Hispanic and many were from Mexico, and also there are students from Anthem, which is majority of people who live there are white people, and there are a lot of students like me, international students. So, and I moved to Seattle, Washington, and went graduate there, which is very diverse school as well. And now I go to ASU, which is one of the most diverse school in the United States. So it is so hard for me to understand and realize that there is still segregation in school. And I was very shocked about what I heard in the podcast because uh, a student claimed that this person went to the school to interview and they experienced how the students life is like at the district, and that first period was AP English. However, there's no teacher and they only got a assignment to do, which was, she said, middle school level, and it's supposed to be advanced, like a college level. So I was very shocked and disappointed because it's 2015. It was recorded in 2015, published in 2015, and there are students that they can not get good education. And I hear a lot about schools in poverty, which my charter school was in poverty as well, and we didn't have enough money to print out the homework or assignments that they wanted to hand out. So I understand it can be hard. My school shut down after 2 years, and at the end of the my second year, a lot of students, a lot of teachers were uh, gone, and we only had more than half of the class. I had a substitute teachers, so I understand I can partially understand what is it like to have education from in that environment, and but this is different because in Normandy School District, they were put in there because of their skin color. There was a school, Francis Howell High School, and on the other side of the river, not too far from there, and they have good education. But the majority, 85% of the students are white, so it is very hard to get into that school. And after they after they decided to do integration because Normandy School District got discredited, so they had to do it. So the student get to decide to whether or not if they want to transfer there, and a lot of them did, and they decided to not they decided to call a Normandy school district as a non-credited school, which means they don't have to pay for the students for transportation to go to Francis Howell anymore. So it was just a lot of mess, and a lot of school authorities did or politicians didn't really care about students. Rather, they only care about uh, money and just separating the students because of based on their skin colors and race, which is wrong. And in the podcast, talk about separation but equal. It was like from very long time ago, and it is still happening in 2015 and back then, and it just I felt very disappointed about that. And in the second podcast, they talk about how white people try to integrate with other people, which is very important because, as we all know, that the majority of the race will not be white anymore in not far from here today in the United States, and they have to learn how to interact, and they have to learn how to live together instead of being separated or try to avoid each other. And I think, and so in the second podcast they talk about magnet school in Connecticut, and um, they talk about the school talk about how they advertise the schools, and they actually don't talk about diversity. They just talk about school facilities and how students live, do school, and they slightly shows diversity with pictures and which students they like let them talk, but not like force or like make it obvious that the diversity in that school. And I think it's very important and it's a very good idea because a lot of people a lot of people white people, uh, especially in uh, urban areas, they hesitate to interact with other different race, and it is understandable because people don't like other something that are different from them. They are scared of something that are not the same from them. So it's understandable, but it's important to embrace different cultures, and but also it is very important that they don't force and push it too hard about diversity and just show it slightly. And as educator as an educator, I hope in the future I would uh, love to embrace the culture different cultures and different like I would love to embrace diversity, but also I would like to like share my culture as well in the future. After completion of my degree, I hope to teach English in Japan, back my home. And it is important to talk about different cultures and different um, different countries, but also it is very important to look back how we are and what we are, and then be able to talk about ourselves and like introduce about our cultures to other people, and so that they would have a better idea about ourselves. So we when we embrace cultures, I would like to include, or like I would like to include to introduce about ourselves as well, because we tend to forget to talk about. So we at the international events we tend to talk about different cultures in Asia, Africa, Europe, different uh, place and South Hispanic, America. But we forget to talk about American culture and Arizona culture, or even like their family culture. We tend to forget about it. So I would like to include everything that we can so that we can be better people. And education is very important. Education is, I believe education is the key to everything, and this is one of them. And because the younger generation is going to be the future of the world, and if they don't know how to interact with other people, they cannot build a good the relationship with other people. And that is why they have to be able to interact instead of avoiding each other and then try not to contact each other. Instead of that, I would want them to be able to talk about it and be open-minded about other different perspectives. And yeah, and traditionally in education we try to force the majority opinion, but it is important to listen to the minority opinions as well. And I do not like to label these stuff, but sake of simplicity, I'm going to. And it is so because um, it is important to uh, keep continuing that tradition. uh, there are a lot of things that we can just keep continue doing it. And like I believe stricter education for teachers to be more strict. uh, I want teachers to be stricter to the students, and so that they can have better manners and all that stuff. I think we have been doing that for a very very long time in many different countries. We have been very nice to the students because it can be abused, but uh, it is important as human. And same for other stuff, like uh, sometimes it's important to know the majority but also minorities, and it's just important to listen to each other. And it's very basic as human being, but it's very very important to respect each other's and listen to each other's and try to understand about each other's. And how we can do that, how can we do that successfully, is to simply by educating ourselves and asking questions to different things that they don't know about. Don't assume. uh, Try to ask questions, and having schools like that magnet school in Connecticut is very good examples, because they will have a safe environment that they can ask questions about different cultures, different customs, and they can ask each other questions, and that's how you build friendship, and that's how you build a relationship with different people. So yeah, that's all. Thank you.